to this squared circle for April 8th, 2013. I am your host, Hollywood J. Williams. We are here live in North Haven. We're going to have a WrestleMania wrap-up show for you tonight. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. We had a pregame party, and it was supposed to air yesterday before the big event, and I think the Aces and Eights are at it again.
Yeah, they took my father. What I hear is he's at Fenway Park, so we have someone go Massachusetts now, where you're going to be in April 20th, so maybe we'll see.
I was pitching my show and I didn't have to do anything yet. Good job. Someone taught you right.
Exactly. Just like your old man.
Where's my money? I just got you a promo.
After the show.
Yeah, this is public access.
Yeah,
now.
we can't let them know.
Exactly. For those of you who don't know, the gentleman to my far right is Mr. Jacob Zimmerman, and for his father this evening. Mm-hmm. And we also have here, as our special guest here, with some WrestleMania insight, the PWA International Champion, Lucifer Lords.
No, you gotta be Paul Heyman, the reigning, defending PWA International Champion, Lucifer Lords.
Was that tryout to be my manager?
Sure.
I'll put you in consideration.
Okay.
This might make him the second biggest icon in North Haven. Next to me, of course.
Oh, of course, yes.
All right. So, give us a call, 203-234-0025, with your thoughts on what I would have to say. I'm glad WrestleMania came to this part of the country, and I'm glad that they had, I believe, 86,600.
8,676.
Right, in attendance. But, to be honest, I would have to give the whole card a C. I have seen much better WrestleManias. I mean, I didn't really think it was that it didn't seem to have the feel like a regular WrestleMania would.
Well, I was really disappointed when they cut out the Royals Clay match. Really, I was looking forward to all night.
You were looking forward to see. You were disappointed because.
Well, I knew Cena was gonna win.
You were disappointed because you didn't get to see Brodus Clay.
Sure.
I was disappointed because I didn't get to see the Bella Twins.
Sure.
You're disappointed for different reasons.
I was just disappointed with the card.
You're just disappointed
with the whole thing. Nah, I agree with you. I give it like a C at best. I mean, the matches were all there, and on paper, it looked like a really good WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Kind of like the last few Yankee seasons. They look great on paper. But, and I'm a Yankees fan, so I don't. But the matches were all there. The stars were all there. And the matches just didn't, the chemistry didn't come together. With the exception of maybe Rock, Cena, who've had, you know, whether you like them or dislike them, the chemistry is there in the ring. They know how to work with each other. And everyone else just seemed like they were just missing something. Like they didn't talk enough about the match. You know, going into it, maybe they were a little skeptical. Because a lot of people debuted. I mean, you had Fandango, Biggie Langston, The Shield, you know, Ryback. These are all their first WrestleManias. Well, Mark Henry's already been at WrestleMania.
Sure.
But it's like these guys, you know, maybe they had a little nerves. Maybe, you know, things didn't go quite as planned. It just, you know, it seemed off.
I think the Shield got winded because they're walking through a crowd, but they're walking through a crowd in a football field.
I know, yeah.
So by the time they got there, they were all out of breath, I think.
I think so. They definitely walked a good full level to the field.
I know. They got their cardio and then some. I think they could have probably skipped cardio today with all that walk into the ring. But that wasn't the actual first match. The first match of the card was not even on pay-per-view. The first match of the card was the Intercontinental title, where The Miz is now the new IC champion, defeating Wade Barrett. But that was on the internet. That wasn't even on the pay-per-view. I have a serious problem with a major title like that being defended on a pay-per-view and not on television.
They've done that before, but it's WrestleMania, and people like Zack Ryder aren't on the card. Give him that hour. Give him that hour on the internet. He's the internet champion. Give him
That's a good point. I'm pretty much over the Ryder hype, but I agree with you that a major title should be on the show, and then you have other free time to use some of your other guys that wouldn't normally maybe get a match to give them a little exposure, a little more than they would normally get. You know, Ryder, yeah, I mean, he had some fun stuff. If you follow him on Twitter, the whole, you know, taking on the catering crew. You know, I enjoyed all that, but definitely, you know, Cesaro didn't even make an appearance. You know,
He never had the U.S. title defended at all.
Yeah, and that's what bothers me more than just the IC being on a pre-show, a guy having a title who works for that company that puts his heart and soul into it, doesn't even get on the thing.
It doesn't even get a WrestleMania moment.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he was there last year to be on WrestleMania.
No, I don't think so
Yeah,
either.
he was there. He was in the Laurinaitis versus Tay Long match.
Was he?
Yeah, the Miz. Yeah,
No, he wasn't. I don't think so.
Miz pinned Zack Ryder.
Oh, I was talking about Cesaro.
Cesaro.
Yeah.
We're going back and forth here.
I told you I keep up. This is an audition.
Yeah,
It's technically a live audition, but you know.
You got to,
Cesaro needs like a rival. All he had was Santino. It's just random people after random people.
Oh, I thought Kofi was supposed to be his rival, and then he kind of just got nixed too. Another guy who didn't even make an appearance on the pay-per-view, who's been with the company for how many
same
years?
With Smith. He was after Cesaro. Now he's a new IC champion.
Kofi Kingston didn't even get a WrestleMania. Why couldn't they have a U.S. title match between Kofi Kingston and Antonio Cesaro?
Because I think some of the bigger guys then kind of demanded 25-minute matches and time constraints. I think that's why the Brodus Clay Road Scouts match got canceled, because Rock and Cena want to go 25 minutes. Brock and Triple H go 25 minutes. You get 20 minutes for Taker and Punk. Oh, son, now there's an hour of your show gone.
Yeah, and it's sad because they advertised that eight-person match. They even had the Road Scholars come out dressed as Brodus Clay and Tenzai.
Yeah.
And now they're like not. I thought maybe it would ended up being the first match, and that was on the internet too, and it got cut. It got scrapped altogether. Now, how is that going to make them feel as competitors that they were pulled from WrestleMania? That's got to be really disappointing.
Yeah, just like a few years ago, Sheamus was supposed to face Daniel Bryan for the United States Championship. They never showed that match.
That is true, and there's a funny story. One day I might tell it about that, but I will tell it now. It'll be quick. We won't take up too much time. I went to the house show in Hartford before that WrestleMania, and it was Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, and they had a hell of a match at a house show.
This was last year.
This was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, when Daniel Bryan was U.S. champion.
Okay.
And they were supposed to have the lead into WrestleMania, and they were supposed to be Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, and it ended up being a pre-show battle royal where they both just kind of got a no contest and blah, blah, blah. But it was just funny because the house show match that they had was so good, I couldn't wait to go to WrestleMania and to see these two guys work, and they nixed the match. And I was like, it makes no sense to me. And everyone I was with said the same thing until this day. I think one of us should go up to Sheamus one day and be like, do you remember this match? Because it was good.
It's like it's false advertisement. You're promising something to someone, and then you don't deliver on it. And it's all because of time constraints. Because wouldn't a good solution be to start WrestleMania maybe at 6 o'clock or 6:30?
They already are starting an hour than a normal pay-per-view, too. And you tell me you can't fit all your matches in? It seemed poor planning to me. Everything was thrown together really fast. You know, all the storylines really mashed together fast, too.
Yeah, and we didn't even have the final card until within the last week.
Yeah, I'll say last time I was on the show with you, there was only like 2 announced matches. It was like 3-4 weeks before the show, and we're already like, well, what are they going to do? They got to start coming up with some storylines because nothing's set yet.
Yeah, but that's what happened. They rushed it. It seemed like it was a rush job this year, and but I mean the buy rates were there. If I could find, said it ended up being the highest, according to WWE, the highest grossing live event in its history. Drawing a reported $12.3 million in ticket sales. They also claimed they broke the MetLife Stadium record of $8.9 million for a WrestleMania, for a U2 concert that they had back in 2011. And the 80,676 fans, all 50 states, 34 countries.
I want to see the proof on that. They tell you someone from every state somehow made it here.
Somebody left beautiful Hawaii.
Yeah.
So I left their, I'm gonna go to cold 54 degrees East Rutherford, New Jersey. I'm gonna get on a plane from Honolulu and go all the way over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is expensive enough as it is for a plane ticket. But yeah, and then they always the 80,676. They always tend to exaggerate the numbers too, as far as attendance.
Yeah, because who knows how many people walk through the door. I mean, they probably sold out tickets, but did every person who bought a ticket show up?
They didn't.
You know?
They didn't because MetLife Stadium holds 81,000. They were off by like 400.
Well, yeah, I remember there's 3 sections closed off, though, from the stage.
Yeah, so.
But then you add onto the floor, so it all probably evens out. But,
Right.
you know, there's people online, you know, you go on eBay, there's people selling 12 tickets.
Yeah.
So, I mean, well, where are those 12 tickets going if no one bought them?
Right.
That means no one's actually sitting in those seats, but they were technically sold, so W doesn't care. They got their money.
They got their money. That's what counts. What did you think of Mark Henry and Ryback? I was expecting a little more out of that.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad that somebody like Ryback, who was pushed so hard until recently, gets a big loss like that on the big stage.
Yeah.
You go first.
Yeah, they had to give him more time. That seemed like a 5-minute match, where that could have been a big, long match, like a 20-minute match. You know, they just could have stretched it out. Like you said, they rushed everything, so.
Yeah, my take on that was, where did Ryback's intensity go? He took a few shots to the back. He's, like, stumbling around the ring. Like, this guy was indestructible. Now he's taking a heat and getting beat up by Mark Henry for 10 minutes, and it's like, this guy used to run around rampaging.
Well, he faced all those skinny guys when he, like, first debuted.
Even, like, Punk and everything, and, like, the shit, like, he's had matches, like, it seemed weird, and then the ending, I think, I don't know if it was necessarily botched, but I think he got hurt. I think when he picked him up on the ropes there, I think he wasn't supposed to be pinned. The way he came down, the way Mark Henry rolled off him, then rolled back to pin him, it was a little skeptical. It's kind of like, I think I got to pin him because he's hurt. Because then why would Ryback get up after the match and hit him with his finish and walk out on top? He should have just walked out on top and won the match.
He should have just walked out on top of the what? Seemed like a failure to communicate there.
Yeah, so I think there was something up.
Mark Henry went for the big pin and thinking that they were gonna have to bring a stretcher out for Ryback, and then he ends up.
Yeah, I mean, he's face down. He was right next to the ropes. He could have grabbed the rope. He could have, like, I don't know.
It's almost like I wouldn't have wanted to be in the locker room after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would want. Yeah.
If I was Fandango, I wouldn't want to be in the locker room after.
If I was Fandango, I wouldn't want to be working there at all with a gimmick like fine, whatever. No matter what you say, he's gonna say you're wrong anyway. You're not pronouncing it right.
I'll be the one guy I like his gimmick. I don't care. I like him. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But what I like is that he actually has a gimmick, which you don't see a lot of anymore. A lot of guys, you know, John Cena, Randy Orton, Sheamus, they're just their name, and that's who they're like. I'm John Cena. I'm a human being.
Right.
I like Fandango because he comes out dancing and doing his little gimmick. Like when back in the old school days when everyone used to be a gimmick. You know, you actually thought the Big Boss Man was a cop. Right. You know, you actually think Doink was a clown. You know, so I like that someone came up with just some sort of different idea that you don't see a lot of, and you know, he was rolling with it. Too bad his in-ring skills didn't back it up.
No.
But
it's all the hype for this guy. You know, it's funny how he tries to tell people that they're pronouncing his name wrong, and I think it would have been a better idea making the Shield 4 people and having the guy Johnny Curtis in there with them.
Yeah, it might actually help. You know, could have got him a few more matches, limited time in the ring. You know, something seemed off with him. The whole match seemed off, and you know, Jericho pretty much carried it, being the veteran. So it makes me wonder: did they not talk enough, or did he forget something? You know,
Jericho carried it, but it's like this is the debut of Fandango, and you can't really have him lose. You can't lose your debut match, and you can't lose your debut match, especially at WrestleMania.
On top of it being a heel, so all you had to do was get a cheap win, which he did. But it seemed like he even botched the roll up. You know.
How long do you see the character even going for? Because a character like
With
that,
a match like that, I would be shocked if he lasts another week.
really,
They probably will give him another. He might get another match where Jericho's just going to squash him probably and get a quick victory, and that might be like, all right, thank you, Johnny Curtis, go back to FCW now.
wow.
I don't know if they tolerate stuff like that. This is professional TV. They're getting paid millions to do this, so I don't know what Vince feels, on a work for him, so I don't know. But I would think you can't be messing up like that, especially at WrestleMania.
Especially at WrestleMania, might have been a better idea just to let him wrestle and not come out and complain about the way he was. People were pronouncing his name.
Yeah, if he can just come out and wrestle, I think he's a really good wrestler. I admit that. He can go far like Cena. Instead of going dance for 5 hours and go back to the ring.
Right. Say my name properly.
I agree with you on half of that. Johnny Curtis, if you watch some of his FCW stuff, he is a talented guy. So, I mean, he can have the match. It's just why did it not work yesterday? Who knows? So
Pressure.
Yeah, it very well could have been.
80,676 people staring at you.
I mean, he has come out there before, though. When Johnny Curtis, he was a skateboarder and everything. He's been on TV. Maybe not WrestleMania stage, so you never know.
He was a skateboarder at one point.
I think so. He didn't last. Like they brought him in for like 2 weeks and sent him back, and I think he's been in FCW for like 5-6 years, and the guy's been around. That's why I knew he had talent. I gave him the benefit of the doubt going in, saying like, hey, this guy might actually be able to do something in the ring. But didn't work out.
Time's gonna have to tell. They're gonna have to sit down and talk with him. Like, you're gonna you can't just have this gimmick that's just funny or annoying to people, whatever. People might like it. We have to have the ability to back it up. We actually have a call on the line. You are live on the Sports Circle.
This is Hollywood J. Williams.
This is Hollywood J. Williams. This is the Thunderous one.
Yes, how are you tonight?
Great. How is your recovery going, sir?
Feeling much better, thank you. I went to my doctor's today. Unfortunately, the blood pressure's still a little high, so I'm now on blood pressure medication.
Yeah, I wish you a quick recovery.
We all do.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in Thursday night. That was kind of thrown on me at last minute. I ended up being a substitute co-host on Center Ring on Thursday evening. Yeah.
Yes, and unfortunately, I just want to let you know I'm calling in, but I'm unable to watch you guys this evening because NHTV's signal is not available on Uverse this evening.
It still is not.
No.
Yeah, we were discussing that right at the beginning of the show. They had some technical difficulties. We had our pre-WrestleMania party. Great crowd there, Gaetano's, and unfortunately was not able to air. Very, very sad that it didn't air, but it will be up on YouTube pretty soon.
I'm trying to rectify that as we speak.
Yes, I know you'll take care of it.
But speaking of WrestleMania, I want to get your thoughts on that.
Like I said just now, I gave it a C. We have Lucifer Lords here, the PWA International Champion, and what grade would you give it?
I agree with you. I gave it a C. Like I said, the matches were there on paper. They just didn't execute enough for me.
I didn't find it too thrilling myself.
Did you have any favorite match that stuck out in your mind, though, at least?
I liked the Undertaker match. I thought that was a good match. I think that was probably the best match of the whole pay-per-view.
I agree. I think most people agree with that too.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, he always brings it. I mean, he's getting up there in years, but he always, brings his A game as much as he can.
Cena's match they had to drag out. By the time they had to do all the announcing, they had 30 minutes left. So
by the time Cena got on, I was starting to fall asleep.
And what happened to the Brodus Clay match?
The Brodus Clay match got scrapped altogether. due to time constraints. Which, you know, to me, if you're gonna say you're gonna have an 8-person tag match, have an 8-person tag match. If you think there's any chance that you're not gonna have time for it,
Don't advertise it.
then you know, they would have been better off just if they had the time throwing that match in unannounced than announcing that they were gonna have it and then not end up having it.
Absolutely, and I do think that the Shield match was pretty lame too.
The Shield match,
The end was lame.
the end was lame.
You know, they're clearly trying to set something up, but I don't like any way they could possibly do it. I mean, Big Show Orton and Big Show Sheamus.
And Randy Orton's been wanting to turn heel for the longest time. They're talking about turning him heel because he wants to, and it just doesn't end up happening.
No, but keep up the great work, and Lucifer, great to have you on the show tonight.
I appreciate being here.
You too, Jacob.
Thanks.
All right, we'll talk to you soon, Jay.
Definitely.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. That is the Thunderous One, Tom Dacey,
Yeah.
from the hit TV series here on NHTV, talking with Tom. He's recovering. He was in the hospital for a few days. Just got out on Easter Sunday. So we're, you know, hoping he's back here in North Haven at NHTV, back in his home territory. You know, he's helping us. He's helping us out. He helps us with our internet quite a bit. You know, he's basically the man responsible when you click on the YouTube, the Squared Circle 18. He's the reason why it's there. So, where were we here? What about we had the tag titles? Kane and Daniel Bryan.
I think they didn't really rush that much, so it was a good match. That's really all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I agree. The match was fairly good. I actually enjoyed the beginning a lot, mocking Daniel Bryan from last year, kissing AJ, and then the bell ringing.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, I thought that was funny. They definitely gave the fans a little laugh to start the match, you know, on a little high note. I'm pretty shocked with how over Daniel Bryan is. I mean, the crowd loves him. A guy who probably should have a solo career now. Like, he's definitely, I mean, he had one. But
he had one and gave it up to do a tag team thing with Kane.
He's definitely over, and you could definitely give him a good run with something. Any title he could make almost legit again, really.
Oh, yeah. His Ring of Honor days, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember him. I think CM Punk was in Ring of Honor, too,
Oh, yeah.
at one point. I remember seeing Ring of Honor up at in Hartford back a few years ago. I think it's called the Connecticut Expo Center.
Yeah.
I saw more action in 10 minutes of Ring of Honor than you do in 3 hours of Raw.
That is true. It's like most indie shows, I think. We
Yeah.
all try to put on a better show than what WWE does. So,
Yeah. We have another caller.
ooh, phones are hot tonight.
I know, exactly.
Must be
Live
you.
on a Squared Circle.
Gentlemen, how's the show going tonight?
We're not even on the air at all because there's something wrong with us. No, we're just kidding. We're on. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. Well, first of all, I hope Jacob's doing well tonight.
He's sitting
And,
right here. He's doing great.
I'm stealing your
I had a
spotlight.
wonderful time watching WrestleMania, even though the show itself was pretty bad. Undertaker was awesome, and I must say that I have to eat crow because Paul Bearer did not show up as per my prediction.
No, he did not.
I'm pretty sure he's really gone.
Right. We have Lucifer Lords with us this evening too.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for stopping in, Mr. Lawrence.
Well, it was my pleasure.
Excellent. So, how's the response to WrestleMania go?
What was that again?
How's your response to WrestleMania?
My response is we're all grading it. I'm giving it a C. Lucifer's pretty much giving it a C, and Jacob's, we're all giving it a C.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
Yeah. I've seen bad. I mean, I'm not saying it was completely bad, but
Yeah.
it could have been a lot better. It seemed very, very rushed. That's
Yeah, it did. And did anybody find out what happened to the Brodus Clay Rhodes Scholars match?
it got scrapped due to time constraints.
Wow.
Yeah, they were in such a rush for some reason we don't know that they just did not have time for Brodus Clay.
Yeah, yeah.
And the part that upsets me the most is it's not so much Brodus Clay dancing. I didn't get to see Brie and Nikki Bella.
Right, right. Now, I understand Lucifer Lawrence was at WrestleMania, is that correct?
That is correct.
And did they do that match at all, like a dark match?
Nope, not even on the show at all. And they had the IC match, pre-show, and they had the countdown timer to WrestleMania, and I think there was 22 minutes to go to 7 o'clock when the Miz match started, and it was only about a 5-minute match. And then I sat there for the next 15 minutes waiting for the show to start, thinking they could have definitely had another match. What happened to the good old WrestleMania Battle Royal they used to do every year?
Yeah, exactly.
And,
And they eliminated the Money in the Bank match.
Oh, I know. That 15 minutes, 20 minutes you were sitting there waiting for WrestleMania to start, that could have been Brodus Clay right there.
So
Yeah, yeah.
Who knows what happened?
I would say overall a big disappointment. I'll let you get back to the show. I thought I would just call in and say hi. I went to opening day today at Fenway Park. Red Sox won. Go Sox, go Sox, go
who
Sox.
learns? Who
All right,
learns?
gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. We'll see you here again.
Bye-bye.
Live via satellite.
The Rock, no.
Right. Back to that tag match, though. I think Biggie Langston is showing me something, though. He's showing me a lot of power.
Ugh. He showed me nothing. I mean, he comes in and he puts his heat on Kane, which is bigger than Daniel Bryan. So, one, I kind of don't like when the bigger guy gets beat up all the time because you're just squashing his character. And you're trying to make Big E look big, but he didn't do a lot. All I remember is a couple heel shots. He did the backbreakers, and then he was on the outside of the ring, and then he got knocked out, and then it seemed like Ziggler did a bunch of jobbing, and the match was over.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, once Ziggler got in the ring, he got choke slammed, and then Daniel Bryan with the flying headbutt, and Big E Langston was nowhere to be found. I would think with all the hype they had with Langston, he was hitting everyone with his finisher. I figured, Team Hell No would still be over. But then afterwards, maybe a briefcase to Daniel Bryan's head. Big E Langston hit some finishers, and he's the last one standing like, look at me, I'm the big guy. I'm here to make an impact. And
The best thing to do with Big E Langston is not put him in situations where he's in a tag match.
yeah, he's almost got like overshadowed and kind of forgot that he was there. So, again, he didn't impress me in a debut. Maybe a guy who can work, but he didn't show it to me yesterday.
He's big, I mean, it's just, he might take a little time because there must be some kind of big difference between being in NXT and being in the regular roster. Maybe when they get to the regular roster, they I don't know. Are they hitting the panic button a little bit?
Maybe. I mean, what are they doing for the 3 months leading up to WrestleMania? He's got to be training and practicing with these guys. He's at the Raw. I'm sure they, before the show, do some stuff. They got to talk. What's he doing? I mean, he should have. Not that he forgot. What he did just wasn't impressive to me. It was better than like Fandango, where I feel like he forgot what he was supposed to do. Big E just didn't make a big enough impact of what he should have.
Something with Raw. A lot of times I watch Raw and I'm fast forwarding through all the commercials and all the parts of Raw that are just, the old footage they're showing from the previous week or talking in the ring about how great they are and stupid skits and really out of Raw you only get about a little over 2 hours of actual action. I don't know if you've ever done that before, just fast.
Oh, I definitely believe that.
Yeah.
I
we
think
timed it out, and it's about 2 hours and 10 minutes is really all you get. It's still a 2 hour show stretched out into 3 hours.
I think that might have been the first joke I made when they announced a 3-hour Raw. I was like, oh, good, we're going to get 3 hours of Raw and the same amount of wrestling.
And if they would just cut out, and maybe this is just a suggestion, Vince, I'm not trying to tell you how to operate your show, don't get me wrong, but if you cut out all the old footage, all the hype up to the next pay-per-view unnecessarily, maybe that would give 15, 20 minutes for Fandango to come out and actually wrestle, or Biggie Langston to come out. And, the more actual time they actually get to spend in the ring, maybe they'll start to get, they'll be able to improve themselves. So when they get to the big stage, they're putting on more moves.
That's what really main event is, though. Half hour of the match, and the rest is footage from Raw, SmackDown, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So this time is wasted when people like Zack Ryder can be wrestling to show how much better they are.
You must really like Zack Ryder. You've been pitching him all night. Maybe Vince is watching. He's like, come on, Zack, I'm pulling for you.
So it's like, if they're having problems with this new talent, maybe they need to look in the mirror. Maybe they need to, give them a little wrestling time out there. Mm-hmm. Instead of the boring, it's like SmackDown. All SmackDown basically turned into was a recap for Raw.
Yeah. I mean, and you got to consider all the house shows. I mean, these guys are on the road every single day. Mm-hmm. Why are, some of these guys not wrestling every house show? It's not televised. I mean, of course, and nowadays someone's going to put it on their phone, put it on YouTube or whatever, but that's almost like their practice, the house shows, and you practice there to get ready for TV.
House shows, there's more action at.
Yeah.
Because they're not on TV.
The one that was just in Bridgeport, there was a great three-way match between Cesaro, Miz, and Kofi Kingston.
Right. And I was at the stand trying to get some fried dough, and I totally missed it.
I think I got a beer during that too, but from what I heard, I saw probably like the 2/3 of it at the end. So I saw the end and the finish and everything, and the reaction seemed good. And then all of a sudden, matches like that don't get on a televised show, and you just wonder. You wonder who makes these decisions.
There was very, very little, if any, BS in Bridgeport because they weren't on TV.
Yeah.
I noticed a big difference between a house that I've never seen before. I don't get it. Things. Those are matches that maybe the rest of the United States or the world should be treated to.
Actually, one thing that just hit me real quick. We talked about no U.S. title match. There were no divas at all. I mean, Caitlin's the Divas champion, and there was nothing about it, not even like a recollection of there even being a women's title.
I know. There was no Divas match. The only diva you saw was Trish Stratus coming out with the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there was no Divas match, and that's another thing, and I've said that before. We had two very beautiful women on this show on February 18th. You've heard of Nikki Nitro?
Yeah, I have, yes.
We had her and Nicolette Vincelli just getting back into the business. It was more Nikki V, and then Nikki Nitro came out at the end. I don't feel as if there's enough women in the major leagues, in the WWE or TNA competing. And whatever they have seems to be exploited. Seems to be they just come out as eye candy. They have somebody like Natalya Neidhart just coming out with a great Khali, not even really wrestling.
When he comes out.
When he does come out. Not to change the subject here, but to see that there's no Divas match at WrestleMania, that's just proving my point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like even the knockout. It's not so much the knockouts division. It's the Divas in the WWE. Knockouts are kind of gaining a little ground again. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They just signed Taryn Terrell as a new knockout instead of refereeing, so that's a brand new one.
She's taking it to my girl Gail. She's they're gonna have her feuding with Gail Kim. Gail Kim, who claims to be the greatest women's wrestler in the whole world or something. I don't know.
Maybe currently.
I have a thing for the Oriental girls. I don't know. I'm sorry. But no,
And that's for another show.
She is a great competitor, and if it wasn't for Gail Kim, there probably wouldn't be a knockouts division.
There's definitely a few that paved the way for there to be these situations for them.
Mm-hmm. But I think this should be the last WrestleMania without the Divas title being defended. Vince, get on it.
I think every title should be defended at WrestleMania, just like every pay-per-view.
Every title period.
Why have a title if basically Vince McMahon is saying this title is nothing to me? You know, I don't even care to put it on television. Then why do you have it?
Exactly.
I mean, it's like just
That's why
putting down your own company.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have Night of Champions.
So they have to make a pay-per-view just to put titles on the line?
That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I remember watching Raw and titles would change hands. I watched
Right.
Bret Hart defend titles on Raw and lose.
I know.
Now it's like, whoa, faux pas. If we put a title on the line on Raw, you know, everything has to be saved for pay-per-views.
Everything has to be seen. There are hardly any title matches on Raw or SmackDown anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, that's sad too. But it's even sadder when you're missing your U.S. title match, your IC title matches on the internet only. What if you don't have internet?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't. Most people do, but there's some people, maybe there's some guy in a hut in Nairobi or something that doesn't have it. Every title should be defended on a stage like this.
You should at least have Miz come out and say I'm the new champion and just do whatever.
He could come out at the beginning and say, "Yeah,
Well,
I was just out here," and
They did the whole recap, the highlight recap of,
Yeah.
45 seconds of what happened during the match. And
yeah.
they let you know what
But
happened.
just to waste 5 minutes, say I'm the Miz, I'm the new champion, I'm awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
And here's a guy that was complaining about not even being on WrestleMania, and this year basically he wasn't. He was just on the internet on WrestleMania.
Miz was that on WrestleMania. He was in the John Laurinaitis versus Teddy Long match.
He ended up being, because he complained about it and they gave him a spot. It's crazy. The world title, one of the few titles that was defended.
Boring.
Weed the people, or we the potheads, whatever. Del Rio retained his title over Jack Swagger.
Doesn't shock me. I figured Del Rio would win. I heard there'd be a little bit more, involvement. I thought maybe like Zeb Coulter would come in to try and fool the fans with the distraction, and then Ricardo would kind of distract Swagger into something, and they kind of had a little outside tiff, but I figured Del Rio was going to be over anyway. Mm-hmm. And not just because of the whole DUI and, they were going to give him the title or not give him the title, whatever. I just figured that's just a lot of times how they do. The face is going to win. This all does is set up a rematch. Heels can complain and, this happened, that happened, and blah, 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 blah. Like, I need a rematch. And,
Coulter interfered.
Yeah, he'll get a rematch. Mm-hmm. It just drags the storyline out a little bit.
They could have put, Ziggler, have him come out and Swagger, stop him like everybody else does from cashing in.
That's exactly what I thought. Because I thought Jack Swagger was going to be the new world champion. I thought, to fuel the fire of this controversial character, the next thing to do would be make him the world champion. So now you hate the character now, and then you're going to really hate the character once he beats Del Rio. You're going to be really ticked off at the guy, and, I thought the rematch would come later on, and then Del Rio might get it back. Del Rio ended up winning. The other thing I thought, with that in mind, Swagger would win, but then there's a good opportunity for Ziggler to come in with his briefcase, which never happened at all.
Which I kind of predicted.
Yeah, if Swagger has a rematch, they should make a submission match. Armbar versus the ankle lock.
It could very well be an Extreme Rules submission match. I think a lot of people were really expecting Ziggler to cash it in because there were so many rumors, and I think that's kind of like...
And he kept saying, I'm going to cash it in either at or before WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think the problem with that is the rumors got so wide is that Vince was like, well, you know what? If everyone thinks it's going to happen, then I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because now all of a sudden he just pulled a big fooled you on everyone who thought it was going to happen.
It's disappointing because I think people would have been. I think the crowd would have went wild to see Ziggler come out.
But he's got the whole AJ and Big E thing. They're not going to just nip that in the bud. You know, you can't just kill your tag team storyline just because you want to put him over. You know, I think he's going to have to. I mean, he only has a couple more months, right? He's a year from the when you win it,
Right.
to cash it in. So this storyline's got to change angles fairly quickly. And so we might even be looking at the next pay-per-view where something's going to have to happen.
Extreme
So you're
Rules.
saying that would be a problem if he cashed it in, being that he's a heel and with AJ and.
But then what do you do with Big E Langston now? Like now he just becomes a bodyguard. You know, they're not going to be tag team now. He's champion.
And what if the crowd starts going wild when he comes out and they're actually cheering him?
They always do that. They never pay attention, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whoever comes out, they start cheering or doing something. They're just
If
keep fighting.
if he cashed it in against Swagger, now all of a sudden he's a baby face out of nowhere.
Exactly, and that's probably why
Yeah.
something like that's not going to happen.
Yep.
Even on the next pay-per-view, I could see him maybe more on Del Rio, maybe doing a Del Rio Ziggler feud. Who knows what's happening with Swagger? You know, there could be repercussions still from the DUI. They just want to wait to get WrestleMania out of the way.
Right. They have to, in order to even violate him on the wellness policy, he first has to be convicted of something.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's all hearsay until, I mean, we all, obviously something's going to happen to his license or, you know, whatever. That's up for a judge to decide. That brings us to the big three. Well, we have about 19 minutes left in the broadcast this evening. Undertaker Punk. 21-0. He's going to keep winning.
Yeah,
He's the Undertaker. As long as he can work once a year, he's just going to keep winning, which is fine.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I couldn't really get into the match. I think the match itself was definitely the best match, but knowing, like, after going 20-0, there was nothing that CM Punk could have did to make me believe he was going to win. I don't care what he hit him with, how many times he hit him with it. You know, after the Shawn Michaels and Triple H matches, it was just, there's nothing CM Punk could do to possibly make me think he was going to be the one.
It's almost an impossibility. It's like trying to travel at this point, trying to travel faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
You know, to defeat the Undertaker, and he tried getting in his head. I thought some of the things he did were, you know, clever.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. I liked him doing old school and everything.
Yeah.
But I also feel that CM Punk is definitely a different style than The Undertaker, and he tried to do too much where The Undertaker couldn't necessarily keep up with everything, just because of age and the style that he is. But CM Punk also had to do that to keep the match exciting, because he had to lead that just, again, because of the age and The Undertaker.
Yeah, I mean, he's younger. He comes from a different background. I mean, Undertaker started in the mid-1980s.
Yeah.
I was just watching something before he was The Undertaker
He was in WCW.
as Mean Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you actually remember that, but...
I don't remember watching it live. I mean, I've seen it in the last few years. But
Yeah, I saw something on YouTube where he came out with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman had hair and he had a cordless phone with him.
it's Paulie Dangerously.
Paulie Dangerously. Yeah, that's back in the day. Yeah.
Undertaker did a little bit of UFC, MMA, whatever. Yeah, did that.
I didn't like. I'm gonna assume this is probably because he didn't want to follow through with it. They cut the dive. I mean, Undertaker's always known for one good over-the-top dive.
Yeah.
And Heyman got in the way and they nixed it. I don't know if that's something the Undertaker being like, yeah, I'm pretty much at the age where I'm not diving out of the ring anymore.
He could be, yeah. He's getting to that point, you know.
Yeah. But you know, it's like one of your go-tos. Like everyone expects it, and then when you don't get it, you're kind of like, oh well. Hey, the Undertaker's just getting to that stage. Maybe you need to start letting it go now.
He's just getting old. I think, you know, how many more WrestleManias do you think this streak's going to go before The Undertaker just totally retires? Next year's WrestleMania 30.
I would think he would, if he didn't go out at 20-0, he's got to go out at 30, because now it's just, I don't know. I'm guessing Cena next year. It's the only guy left that could give him any run. And if you want to actually tease the fact that he might lose, I think Cena's the only guy that could do it. Unless you pull in like The Rock again or something. You know, anyone real big.
I
It
don't
would
think
have
they'll
to be
do that.
someone big.
I think it would be Cena. I mean, it's the only one who hasn't really faced him yet who's veteran enough to.
Yeah.
What about Ziggler versus Undertaker?
I think it would be like Punk.
They
have a very similar
It
style.
would be another match just like Punk.
You know.
Cena.
I can maybe see Jericho only because they might tease a retirement for one of them. Whether I think that they will retire anyway, I don't think he'll announce that. It'll just be announced afterwards. But I could see Jericho maybe getting to the age where, you know, kind of like a Shawn Michaels, and he.
Jericho, that would be a good one for next year. Jericho or Cena. What are your thoughts maybe about Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar.
Oh, do you
will kill him.
think Brock Lesnar?
I hate Brock Lesnar.
They will both die in the ring. If they face each other, they will both die in the ring.
The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
They had a
They
good
will kill each
feud,
other.
you know, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember that one Hell in a Cell match where they were both just bloodied up and just wailing on each other. But this guy was 10 years older now. I just don't think two big guys like that can put on an exciting match.
Lesnar's got health problems too, from what I understand. Something wrong with his stomach.
Yeah, he had something. There's no way he left UFC. He had some sort of issues. So, you know,
So they're always careful where to hit him,
yeah.
because if they hit him in the wrong place, then it's gonna re-aggravate everything, I guess. What about the Triple H Brock Lesnar?
Way too long.
Way too long, too technical. It was kind of almost like an MMA.
Every no holds barred match. Steel chair, steel steps. That's it.
Yeah, that bothered me. It was basically the Undertaker match from last year with Triple H. They did kind of the same spots. I don't like holds like Del Rio and Brock Lesnar do in wrestling, because if you've ever been into a real Kimura, it hurts. You know, you could break an arm in seconds, and that's why guys in the UFC tap so fast. So when you got Triple H holding this guy's arm for 5 minutes at a time, and he's like, oh, is he going to tap? Is he going to tap? It's not believable.
It's not believable
He's
because
not
in
in
real
pain.
life, you're like,
Yeah, there's a reason why these guys tap so fast and so frantically, because they know their bone is going to break.
right.
So when you do moves like that in WWE, I don't want to see that. I like the suplexes. Like, that's what it's supposed to be.
It's like they were trying to cater to Lesnar in a little bit to like honor his MMA background a little bit.
Yeah, I understand that's why they do it. It just, I don't think it's believable. It's just, you know, I don't know.
I don't know neither. I mean, even if Triple H did lose that, it's not like he'd really be out of a job,
Yeah.
because he's going back into the office anyway until the next time he's needed. He's not even advertised for
much.
tonight.
Look at McFoley. He's GM of Saturday Morning Slam.
What's that?
McFoley's GM of Saturday Morning Slam now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
He is the general manager of Saturday Morning Slam.
Yeah, where have you been?
I'm sleeping on Saturday morning. I don't
Well,
get
it's
up to
on
watch.
Sundays, actually, so it doesn't matter.
It's Saturday Morning Slam on Sunday morning.
Yep.
Okay. Then wouldn't it be Sunday Morning Slam?
Just gotta ask Spence. I
Yeah,
think he actually did move me Saturday morning, but I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes some things that just don't make, whatever is illogical is what's going on, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is this about when we have 10 minutes left? The Rock is supposed to work tonight, and apparently he's not.
That's the rumors. Rumors are he flew out to go take care of some other business. He was advertised. Now, who knows if he's going to be there. So.
Apparently he's gotten on this plane and left.
That's the rumor.
That's what he thinks of the WWE. That goes to my point that I think I don't care how much money he's bringing in. Vince really needs to talk to him and go, are you an actor or are you a sports entertainer? Got to make up your mind. Because it seems like he comes in once a year and uses Vince McMahon to hype up movies.
Yeah.
And he has this year it's worse because he actually won the title.
it made it more ugly.
I'll give him one thing. The title's better now than it was. I didn't like the spin.
Well, I just think the new one's just plain ugly. You know, Cena say he's gonna hold it as a symbol. I think it's believable, but as soon as he loses it, Punk's going back to the spinner belt because he's gonna say, I haven't held this title for 434 days. I've held this one, and just bring out the spinner belt.
He's gonna bring the spinner back. What'd you think of our main event? Cena, Rock.
It was the second best match, but that's not really saying much.
Mm-hmm.
Overuse of finishers
Yeah,
was what I would say.
it was
it-
pretty much
basically
rock
to
bottom
me-
after rock bottom.
Yeah, it takes away from the rock bottom now. If he takes 5 of them to pin him,
Yeah, that means it's like not working.
Cena mocking the Rock bottom at the end.
I like that. I like him
That
actually
was-
hitting the rock bottom because it brings me back to the Stone Cold Rock days where they both would do each other's finishers.
Yeah.
But they
Right.
only did them like once.
Right.
And it was basically like kind of a cocky way.
Right.
You know, I didn't like the people's elbow where like he pre-planned it knowing he lost last year by trying to mock it. So he purposely held the ropes this year, trying to be like, haha, I won up to. But like, that's not Cena's gimmick. You know, he's there to fight for who he is, not to like one up you or be cocky. That's the heel's job. It seemed kind of out of character, and it just didn't.
Did they give up an opportunity? An internet rumor is John Cena is the man that is paying the Shield.
I heard that rumor.
It's sooner or later he's the one behind it, and he's gonna be heel.
I could see it happening.
Did they give up an opportunity to turn him heel last night?
Oh yeah, well, the handshake I was screaming, just give him an attitude adjustment right there. Like
Yeah.
you could turn everything right there, but
Just give him an F, or what is it called, the FU or whatever?
it used to be. Yeah, now that's not correct because
Oh, yeah.
TVPG.
Yeah,
we keep saying
STFU
that.
is STF.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of hard to explain. But technically, Cena's already their biggest heel because really he gets booed the most.
He gets booed anyway.
So I mean, he's a face, yeah, but really what the heel does is to go out there and get booed, and Cena gets booed the most. So he is kind of like a heel with the aspect of the fans are against him.
But the kids
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah,
Even
but the kids love him. So
the more
turning
you-
him heel might not actually work.
I know, because
It's like, yeah, he gets booed. He acknowledges he gets booed.
he really doesn't care.
Yeah.
Boo me, love
Doesn't
me,
care
I don't
if
care.
there's people booing him because he knows there are some people cheering him. He's
Doesn't-
worried about the
yeah.
people. He's worried about the fans that are cheering him.
Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks.
Yeah.
Right.
Those chants.
Mm-hmm.
And
He feeds off it, and you roll with it. That's your plan, really, as a wrestler to go out there. You,
Yeah,
you
it's
want,
like Cena's a character
Yeah.
like no other.
But if Cena turns heel, nobody's gonna buy his shirts and merchandise.
I think they still will. Maybe not as many. It depends. I don't know. I prefer heels over faces. I think they're more fun.
Cena will turn heel when the time is right.
Yeah.
Because Hulk Hogan had this problem too. Even when he first got to WCW, they actually had to put cheering tracks in, so you would think there was more fans cheering for him. Part of their big thing why he ended up being the leader of the NWO is because the Hulkamania thing was just dying out.
Yeah.
It wasn't going over anymore.
Drastic change.
Yeah.
And Cena kind of went the opposite way because he was a heel for so long with the rapper gimmick,
Yep.
and then he
For 2
did the
years.
Marine movie, and then he's been face ever since.
Right.
So
He's been face ever since, and his time might come where he turns heel. We may have to wait a few more years.
yeah,
I
who
think
knows?
15 years strong.
Maybe he'll have a falling out with Vince McMahon and go to TNA, like Hulk Hogan had a falling out with
Yeah,
Vince McMahon.
I don't
and
see
went
that
to
happening.
WCW.
Yeah, I don't see him ever going to TNA. Maybe Ring of Honor or something like that, but never TNA.
TNA. Isn't much going on with TNA. What do I have there? Bully Ray versus Jeff Hardy. This is for Thursday night. Austin Aries and Bobby Roode versus Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez. That team cannot tag together if they lose. Gonna find out whether AJ Styles joins Aces and Eights. Gail Kim taking on Taryn Terrell. TNA.
Don't watch a lot of it.
Don't watch a lot of it. I don't think you really do neither. You try not to.
No, I do. Every
I'm
week.
usually training Thursday night, so a little tough to watch TNA.
Yeah.
I tune in. I must see what's going on in the wrestling world.
Must see. And they signed a deal with Intercontinental Hotel Group, Candlewood Suites, so they all have places to stay.
Good for them. I'm happy for them.
Good for them. One more. We'll switch gears, and I want to talk a little about Little Indy tonight. We don't really
Definitely talk about this guy. And
we got to talk about you.
his wonderful
Trish Stratus at the Hall of Fame. You're not the dad, are you?
No, but I wish. That probably just got me in trouble. I don't know.
Who knows? Yeah, all right. Well, everybody knows who the Hall of Fame was.
Yeah.
Bruno Sammartino being the big one. Hell froze over.
Yeah.
From
I can't
what
wait to
they-
watch it. I know.
No,
I think
wait,
it airs
who-
tonight, right?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I'll wait for the DVD because I watched the whole thing because I know they cut
You're
so
better
much
off
out.
They
watching
cut,
the whole.
I think they cut out like Mick Foley or something.
Well, I can
Yeah.
cut out Mick Foley.
They cut out Mick Foley. It's only going to be Trish Stratus, Donald Trump, and Bruno Sammartino. As
Who
part
cares
of-
about Donald Trump? Would he pay for that spot? Probably.
Probably. Well, he's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He can get
Can't
whatever.
cut out Mick Foley. That's ridiculous. I'm not boycotting it.
Real quick before we go here, NAFW Battleground, May 11th, former TNA stars Amazing Red and Homicide at the Boys and Girls Club of Chicopee. Starts at 6 o'clock. Bricomania, Bethany Town Hall. I know you guys,
He's another promotion. There's nothing.
he's another promotion, Yeah.
May 4th.
Getting
Right.
to know him a little bit through Center Ring and going down there and hanging out with the Fogman and all that. It also can be seen live on iPay-per-view, 7 p.m. Saturday, May 4th. But April 20th, National Guard Armory, 323 West Broadway Street. Is it? Yes.
Yeah.
Follow the cards. And who are you defending your title against that evening?
Grim Reaper.
Grim
Reaper. I
Wow.
have to take on the Grim Reaper on 420.
So he's like the Grim Reaper, but he's high.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Wow.
On for is it coincidence? I don't know, but it's gonna be an interesting match. Reaper is definitely a
Good talent.
10-year veteran. Did some ROH stuff. CZW. It's not easy.
Not easy. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
How's Tommy Mac doing in TNA? Good check.
Ask Tommy Mac.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
good
I really
shit.
like Tommy Mac. but-
Northeast Wrestling added Mickey James to their card to face, I think, Maria in May. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Go watch those indies.
Support your indies.
Support your indies. We'll talk much
Support
more
this
about
belt.
that later.
Yeah. If you want to see more of this guy, April 20th. That's where you need to be.
That's it.
Mr. Main Event.
This is Lucifer Lords.
Jacob Zimmerman.
I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Good night and good luck, and we'll see you again next week.